that's what I say, that's the cork. So if you take a look, and if that's not fixed, it doesn't, you can have a 30-lane bridge, and it's still going to end up nowhere. Okay, there's just nothing on that end. And because Translink is the operator, or for us, the people we have to deal with, we're looking at it very seriously to see how do we make it work.
What do you think should work?
Well, what should work for our city is an expanded and a method of taking care of the trucking, okay, making sure the transportation system works that goes through our city that we can't change. And we cannot change the Stewardson Way, or going through Front Street, or going over to Braid Street, or going down into the industrial parks on the end of Braid Street, or across to Highway number 1. In order to do that, we have to have an expansion of that road that's on Front Street, and we have to fix it now for the people so they can breathe, okay, so that they can have some sense of city, okay, and quality of life, not with 4,000 trucks going through constantly. So it means a bridge or a tunnel, or excuse me, a tunnel encapsulation.
So you're not against it, you're not in favor of it, you're just waiting and to see what the details of that expansion is.
We're in the process of doing that now. That's what we're doing. We have to see what can be done, where, especially where it affects our city.
Translink is one of the latest topics, especially because the BC government is proposing some new type of directors, professional appointed directors. Can you tell us briefly what is the position of your council here in that regard?
Well, I think there's a number of fundamental issues. They do have a board that will be, from the business sector, and then they'll have the Council of Mayors, and I believe they're starting out with 25 mayors. It's going to be an interesting concept because the governance structure that we had before was not necessarily a bad governing structure. The issue was around the sustainability of funding, and that's been the key issue. It continues to be the key issue, and so it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds over the next year or so.
How is the sustainability, the economic issue, relate to the administration?
Well, that's partially so, because I mean they've got the board of directors, the independent board of directors, as well as the mayor's council. So those two boards will work together. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, to implement the plan and develop the transportation plan and strategy over the next 10, 20, 30 years, there has to be a sustainable revenue funding revenue, and to use the 3 cents of the gas tax, which has to be matched by property taxes. And this is the conundrum that we're in as mayors and councils, because over the next number of years, it's an increase of 27% in property taxes. Now, we are struggling to finance and fund what we're supposed to when it's policing and fire and building infrastructure on our own roads. So we struggle with that because we have a very small piece of the pie. The federal government and the provincial government, of course, collect a lot more taxes. So for them to expect us to raise property taxes to fund a provincial transportation plan is not something that we're keen to do.
We're very unhappy about the proposed changes. There are many reasons we're unhappy. One is that the city of Vancouver is proportionally a huge amount of the ridership for Translink, and our proportional representation will decrease significantly under Minister Falcon's recommendations. The second reason we're very unhappy is that we are now going to have an appointed board, an appointed commissioner making the decisions, with the mayors coming in to essentially rubber stamp everything every 3 months. There's no way that arriving every 3 months and being the busy mayors that they are, they can go through the details of every report and make recommendations and have significant input. So what we're seeing is an appointed body rather than the elected officials making those decisions. So you're losing your representation with your taxation on this.
And how about the new decision from the provincial government to appoint this board of directors?
Well, that's exactly what we are opposing, because right now, basically, they are putting everything in the hands of the provincial government and their appointees, even though there is a council of the mayors, but they have very little power, and we do not really know the details of this organization.
What exactly is the purpose of this new board?
Well, I think this new board was supposed to be streamlining everything, but the way I see it is almost sort of a dictatorship by the provincial government in terms of transit planning for all the municipalities.
I talked to some city councillors in Vancouver, and they are basically outraged that it's happening. They feel that they are losing control over the direction of Translink. But you don't feel that way.
Well, I don't necessarily know that we're losing control of Translink. I think that it is a different governance structure, there's no doubt about it. I don't know, because it hasn't been tried before in this region, I don't know how it's going to work. I have no problem in moving forward with it. It could be a very good model, and I think we should, give it a chance to work.
You've been in the Translink board. Are you still in the Translink board?
I'm on the Translink board right now, yes.
All right. And you know about this new board of directors
Yes.
that province is suggesting. Are you what are your views on it?
Well, I think the most important thing is that the Translink and the GVRD have to work together as they have been. So as long as that takes place, I can't see much of a difference that they're going to happen. What's going to happen with any difference? We had great staff there. The staff is going to stay. The plans are going to be united with what we're doing on the GVRD, I would hope. And then we'll go from there. Plus, there'll be a council of mayors, and the council of mayors are going to be having some input to what's going on. And I think that'll work its way through to see if it's workable or not.
What exactly is that this new board of directors, professional directors, are going to do that you are not doing at the present moment?
Well, again, if you're asking my personal opinion, I think that the board of directors that they have right now works very well. I found it, with my experience and learning on it, and representing the people, and the representing as a mayor and that taxes the people to do their transportation. I think that was a big, important group that should be in the room when you're talking about transportation because it's so much money. So I don't think the new group can do much more than what we were doing, but I look with great interest to see just what they will do.
What do you think they will do different?
I don't think there's much they can do different. They're going to put a policy together, which we're doing, and which we have been doing. They have selected amount of funds that they can use, so they'll be doing the same as us. They'll be buying buses and operating a system for the people of the Lower Mainland, and they'll be having the people pay for what they get. So, and we'll have to be involved in that. So it's a little bit confusing.
Right. You don't find that you might be redundant? The mayors would be redundant if they're going to make all the decisions?
Well, let's put it this way. If that should occur, then I think it would be very difficult for the mayors to be collecting any tax dollars. Okay, if we're going to have to tax the people, then we will have to have some kind of communications and have to be responsible and accountable just as they would be, or they would have to be accountable to us. I'm assuming, okay, because we don't know yet what the legislation is until it comes through in October.
Some city councillors in Vancouver think that this new board of directors would basically replace them, and the mayors from the cities will be basically rubber stamping the decisions from this appointed board of directors.
Well, I don't think that the mayors will ever rubber stamp anything because we represent the people.
If you can change your vote when you change your mind, that is what democracy is all about. Now polling.ca. Perpetual democracy doesn't mean that you have to vote every day. It just means that you have the right and the ability to vote anytime you want. And that is what perpetual democracy is all about.